Welcome to another episode of What the Hell. Today we're going to be talking about independent contractors. Welcome to Business Talk. Today I'd like to talk to you about what the hell an independent contractor is. In our last video, we discussed what an employee is, and we discussed the ways to determine whether or not someone is an employee. Well, what is the other side of that spectrum? What is the flip side of that coin? Well, that would be the independent contractor. Most often, these people are mislabeled under other terms, but the correct term for it is an independent contractor. Determining who is an independent contractor and who is not is similar to determining who is an employee and who is not. Whereas an employee does not have the power to direct or control their work environment, to have a profit or a loss, and to control their schedule, an independent contractor actually has all of these things, and as such they are usually paid on an invoice system and receive a 1099 at the end of the year. An independent contractor is someone who has their own business or perpetrates themselves as a business. They're not somebody who comes in to help out. They're not somebody who comes in to fill in when work is really high paced and you need another hand. An independent contractor is somebody who does a job or a service for you, regardless if you are a person or if you are a company. Most B2B or business-to-business transactions are all done through standard channels of independent contracting. There are occasions where B2B transactions will use shared employees, but we're not going to get into that. For the most part, you use the same standards when you're looking to determine who is an independent contractor that you would when you're looking to determine who is an employee. You're just looking at them from the opposite point of view. You're not asking yourself, is this person an employee? You're asking, is this person an independent contractor? Is this person able to control what they do? Is this person able to have a profit or a loss? Is this person able to direct the control and direct their schedule around their needs? My personal favorite example of an independent contractor versus not an independent contractor actually comes from the guy who mows your lawn. This is one I used a lot while being a tax auditor for the Workforce Commission in the state of Texas. If the person who comes and mows your lawn owns all the equipment that they use to mow your lawn, and then they send you an invoice, and you pay that invoice, chances are that person is an independent contractor. Here's where it gets a little iffy. If that person comes and mows your lawn and uses your lawnmower, that person is probably your employee. This is how it breaks down. Remember that they have to be able to experience a profit and a loss. If that person who was mowing your lawn owned the equipment, that means they're going to have to pay for the equipment, the maintenance on the equipment, the gas on the equipment, and they're going to have to pay for it if it breaks down. That means that person can obviously encounter a loss. If he blows up a $3,000 riding lawnmower that he paid for mowing your lawn for $75, he didn't make any money. He made a loss for the day. He actually lost money doing that job for you. If they're using your lawnmower to cut your lawn and they blow it up and now you're out a $3,000 lawnmower, but he's still getting paid for the day, he can't make a loss on that. He's still going to make money. And that is a big difference between who is an employee and who is an independent contractor. It's that ability to have a loss. It's that ability to lose money on a simple task or lose money on a job. Another thing that creates that loss or that ability to have a loss is the possibility of being sued. That person needs to carry insurance, and that cost of that insurance is to cover them if something were to happen and they got sued. This is America, and in this day and age, businesses get sued all the time. Well, you can't sue an employee when they screw up. Well, you can, but that's a civil issue and really, really hard to get into. But an independent contractor can be sued when they do something wrong. They can be sued in small claims court, in civil court, by the person who hired them to do a job. It is that ability to get sued that also creates the possibility of having a loss. It's really important to look at all aspects of this, because I often see people who are employees, and I have often seen them in the past and currently, who are employees who get paid as independent contractors because their bosses either don't know better or they just don't care. And that is completely wrong. There is another issue in determining an independent contractor that I would like to bring up that I saw a lot while working with the Texas Workforce Commission Tax Department. And that is, a lot of times, depending on the state that you live in, if you have an employee who also does work as an independent contractor for you, that work cannot be considered as an independent contractor's work and must be paid as employees' wages. I bring this up to bring that whole lawn care thing back up. Say you have a mechanic, or somebody who works for you, and they work in a store for you, but you pay them as an independent contractor to mow the grass, once a week, and they come in, they do it on their own time. Well, I know at least here in the state of Texas, there is a law that if certain percentage of their income from you is as an employee, all of their income from you has to be considered as an employee. This is one area, and it's a less known area where there can be major problems because the person and the business don't understand what they're doing is illegal and is incorrect. It is always best to seek out someone like myself as a consultant, or somebody from your tax department or somebody from your regulation department to help you make these calls on whether or not someone is an employee or someone is an independent contractor. One of the biggest things with independent contractors that almost always states that someone is an independent contractor is if they hold a professional license. One electrician can subcontract to another electrician because they don't have the time to do all the work themselves. Well, as long as that other electrician is a master certified electrician and has their own license and their own business, that person is an independent contractor. Now, that stated, if it's not being subbed out to a master certified electrician and instead going to a journeyman or maybe an apprentice or something along those lines, those people have to work under, by law, someone who has a master certified certificate. So they cannot be an independent contractor. They work for the person with that license. Like I said, there are a lot of ifs, ands, and buts in these arguments, and a lot of things that need to be addressed in order for you to really know whether or not someone is an independent contractor. And this is where I'm going to get myself in a lot of trouble with a bunch of people out there. Don't trust your lawyer. Unless your lawyer is a labor lawyer, they probably do not know the regulations. While working as a tax auditor with this Texas Workforce Commission, more often than not, I would have to tell lawyers to shut up and listen, because they did not know what they were talking about, and they tried to act big and tough, and they tried to use different ways to try to make us see things their way. Well, here's the problem. When you're dealing with a regulatory commission, such as the Texas Workforce Commission Tax Department, or any regulatory commission, whether it's federal or state, that lawyer has no bearing in that meeting. Even your accountant, if you're listening to them, and they do not have the necessary training to make these decisions and make these calls, they have no bearing in that meeting either. And more often than not, somebody who is in a position like I was in that job will just tell them to shut up and sit down, and that they need to listen to what we have to say, because what we say is what goes, regardless of their efforts or ideas or what they think they have as an understanding. And I'm going to get into this a lot farther in the next one of these videos, when we talk about a term that I see used all the time that doesn't even freaking exist. It's a made-up term, made up by lawyers, made up by accountants, and people who have no understanding of how any of the employment laws are written. But we'll get into that in the next video. Again, an independent contractor is somebody really who is their own business. Whether or not, they're doing it as a DBA or doing business as, if they're registered as that, they're still registered as a business. Or if they're an LLC or an incorporation or a partnership or limited liability partnership, or any of these different taxable entities, that is still a legal represented business. And if the person does not have this legal represented business and does not work for themselves and work for many, many other people, not just one particular, other person or one particular company, which, by the way, is another way for people to end up becoming an employee rather than an independent contractor, is if they do all of their business with one other company or with one other person. 100 to 1, they're going to be seen as an employee of that business, unless they have a legal tax entity that they are doing business as. And even then, that's not a guarantee. It's very, very important that you get to learn and understand all of these aspects, so that you don't get yourself into a position, or you don't end up in a position where you're incorrectly working for someone under the wrong ID or the wrong classification, because not only can it adversely and badly affect that business or that person that you're working for, it can also adversely or badly affect you. It's very, very, very important that you know exactly what you're getting into. And as I stated before, don't trust a lawyer on this unless they are a labor lawyer. And even then, I would second guess whatever they say until I contacted whoever is the licensing or the registered government entity who makes these decisions in your location. In the state of Texas, all of these decisions are determined by the Texas Workforce Commission Tax Department. They are the end-all, be-all of employment within the state of Texas. And I'm sure that there's one of these organizations in every state. There has to be one of these organizations in every state, because every state has different rules and regulations, and somebody oversees them. I hope that this video has helped. I hope that I haven't confused you too much. If you like what I'm doing and you like the way that I'm doing it, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me down in the comments section. I'll be glad to get back with you. If you have any suggestions for me on different topics or different things that you would like to see, again, leave me something in the comments menu. I will gladly get back with you. Thank you again.